Da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. And today I'm very excited to be checking out Camel Up from Z-Man Games. This is for 2 to 8 players, ages 8 plus, and it'll take you about 30 minutes to play. And in Camel Up, you are going to be betting and gambling on camels, on who will win legs of races, who will win the race overall, and you're trying to make the most money. But lo and behold, the camels are going to have crazy, completely uncontrollable maneuvers that they are going to be doing, and also other people can scheme and plot potentially to either help or hurt different camels along the way. What the heck am I talking about? Let's open it up and check it out. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Camel Up. First and foremost, we have our handy dandy rule booklet. It is 2 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples, and we'll have you up and running in no time at all. And actually, I can probably just teach you the game right now because it is a very, very simple game. So in Camel Up, what you are going to be doing is you are going to be gambling. That's it. You're going to be betting on all these different camels right here, which are going to be racing. You are not actually going to be controlling the camels or having a camel that's yours. You're just going to be betting on them and trying to maximize your money and make the most money at the end of the game, which is when one of the camels crosses this finish line right there. So along the way, you're going to be able to take a couple different actions. We'll go over those actions. We'll go over the components, and I'll show you how it's played. So first and foremost, we got money over here. We got increments of 5 and 1, cardboard money, perfectly serviceable. Also, we have 10s and 20s down here. Don't worry, you probably won't need those too often. At least I don't, because I stink at this game. Actually, I just gamble way too much. Next, each player is going to select one of the characters. And the characters will all have various different pictures on them. There's Indiana Jones guy, Middle Eastern guy, British guy with a hat, various different characters. And once you've selected your character, you're going to get all 5 of your corresponding cards, which are like this. Everyone's going to have the same amount of cards and the same type of cards. And they're just each going to have one of the camels in the race, because there are going to be 5 camels in this race: blue, orange, white, green, and yellow. I'll show you what you're going to use those for in a minute, so don't worry about those. Also, you're going to grab your corresponding tile, which are going to be these tiles right here. These tiles you're going to be able to play on the track in various different places and potentially either screw up camels or help them out. But the bottom line is, if any camel lands on this spot, you're going to gain +1 coin immediately. So they're nice to have out there. And they can potentially help you win or lose a leg of a race, or potentially even the entire race itself. What's a leg of a race? Well, I'll get into that in a minute. So next, we're going to go over our cool little pyramid. It's right here. This is where you're going to be putting your 5 dice. How this works is, you just set it down, open it up, boom, and this is a terrible example. There we go. One would come out, and then you would move that camel that many spaces. I'll go over the movement in a second, but needless to say, that is your pyramid. Very cool looking pyramid. We have 2 more things to go over. The first are going to be these tiles right here. These are going to be one of the actions you can take. It will make sense in a minute, but essentially you're going to grab this, and then at the end of a leg, you're going to get 1 coin, but this also means that you are going to do the pyramid action, which I just showed you. So if you grab this, you're immediately going to grab 1 die out of the pyramid and then move a camel. So last but not least, we have these tiles right down here, which are going to come in increments of 5, 3, and 2. These mean you are going to be betting on the camels. This is not to win the entire race. This is actually to just win a leg of a race. Now, what is a leg of a race? A leg of a race is what happens when all 5 of the dice have gotten out of the pyramid. So once all 5 of these have been taken, and 5 of these dice have been rolled, and the camels have all been moved, that is the end of a leg. And how these tiles work is, if you were to take this tile and the orange camel was in first place, you would get 5 victory points, or 5 coins at the end of this leg. If he's in second, you'll get 1. If he's in third, fourth, or fifth, you'll get -1. So the first person who takes this is going to have the potential to earn 5 coins. Now the second person who takes it is only going to have the potential to earn 3 coins, because obviously the second person betting on them, they're going to be making a little bit less money most of the time. And then that person who's, if it comes in second, you're still going to get 1, and then -1. And down to here, where if he comes in first, you're only going to get 2. Once these are all gone, they are all gone. But at the end of the leg, you will tally up how many points you have, and you will get those points and then place these back on the board. And they come in they're all the same, 5-3-2 for white, 5-3-2 for yellow, so on and so forth. So I'm going to start up the game, and then I'm going to show you how it works, and then I'm going to explain what these are real quick after I start up the game. So to start up the game, you're going to roll the pyramid. I'll just do it like this, and you're going to move the camels that many spots. So I would normally be doing this out of the pyramid, but for now I'm just going to do it right here because it doesn't make a big difference. Drop one random one. So yellow is going to go 1, 2, 3. You put that there and there. Drop it randomly out, and we have white is going 1 space. So white is going to go 1 space, but orange is already there, which means white is actually going to go on top of that camel. So as you can see, now white is on top of orange. This technically means that yellow is in first place, white is in second place, and orange is in third place. Because if you are on top of another camel, that means you are ahead of them. We got 2 more, so let's see what's going to happen. So blue is going to move 2 spaces, so blue would go right there. And then last but not least, we would have green right there. We'll just roll that up. Who's going to go 1 space? So we would put all these dice back in the pyramid, and we would be ready to rock and roll in this game. So I'm going to go over a mock turn, and I will show you all the different actions. So on your turn, you are going to be able to take one and only one action, and I will go over them right now. So the first action that you can take is you can place this tile, your +1 or your -1, wherever you'd like to place it, as long as there's not a camel on that spot, or as long as it's not right next to another tile. So if I put a tile right here, someone could not put a tile right there, or right there. But obviously at the beginning of the game you probably want to do that, so maybe the first person's turn they're just going to say, alright, I'm going to put this -1 right here. So he might drop it right there, and that would be his entire turn. Now the next player might say, alright, I'm going to take a different action, and that action might be that they might take this one right here. Now they're not going to get the coin immediately, but they will put this in front of them to symbolize that they will get a coin at the end of the leg, and then they would go ahead, take the pyramid, and get one out. So let's see what happens. So the white camel is going to go 1 space, and this is actually a perfect example, so I can show you how the movement works. So the white camel is going to go 1 space, and since the green camel is on top of the white camel, that means the green camel is going to hitch a ride with the white camel. So boom. So now the white and the green camel both have moved 1 space. Pretty cool. So let's just go to the next player. Now the next player sees the writing on the wall. He knows that the blue camel is still going to move and the green camel is still going to move, and he's like, you know what, I really like that green camel. I think he's probably going to win this leg, which remember, a leg ends once all 5 of the die have been rolled. And he said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and bet on this green camel right here, and that would be his one action, to bet on this camel right here, and he would go ahead and put that in front of himself. So if the green camel does win, he's going to win 5 coins at the end of this round. So let's just go ahead and we'll do another one. So let's just say the next person's going to draw one of these tiles so we can move it on up. And the orange now is going to go 1, 2 spaces. So now the orange is looking good. So somebody else might say, you know what, I think I'm probably going to go ahead and bet on this orange guy right here. And that might be his turn. And then another person might say, all right, I'm going to go ahead and roll again for my action. And as I mentioned, you're only going to be taking one action at a time. So, green is only going to go 1 space. So this is not the best thing in the world, but it's also not the worst thing in the world for green. So now, the only 2 people that we have left to move are yellow and blue. Yellow's going to have a very hard time coming in first place since he's all the way at the bottom of the pile. Which means, you know what, that blue's still got to move, so the next person might be like, alright, I think the white's actually going to win, because I think that white has a promising start. Now, there's one more thing that you're going to be able to do on your turn, because as I mentioned, the things you can do, you can lay down this tile, you can grab one of these guys and roll a die, you can bet on a particular leg of a race, or you're going to be able to bet down here on who's going to win the overall race and who's going to lose the overall race. Not the leg of a race, but the entire race itself. So normally you don't do this too early unless you're a gambler like me. And how you're going to do this is you're going to go back to these 5 cards I mentioned a little bit earlier that are each going to have one of each color. So if you think that blue is just going to stink it up and is going to lose this race, you might say, all right, I'm going to go ahead and secretly put one of my cards here for my turn. Now, If blue does end up losing the race, being in last place, and you're the first person to predict that, you're going to gain 8 points. Now, if someone else did it before you, and you're the second person to predict that blue is going to lose, you can do 5 points, and then 3 points, and 2 points, and 1 point, so on and so forth. And for each one you get wrong, you're also going to get negative 1 point. But the thing is, you can put as many of these cards down here as you like. So potentially, you could probably just start off the game, and sometimes I do this, by my first 2 turns, just putting down 2 random colors down to lose, and then maybe the next time putting 2 random colors down to win, because, I got a 40% chance either way that I'm going to win 8 coins. Well, overall, I would win 7 coins. But anywho, so only the first place winner on this side and the last place loser is going to get any money on both of these sides, and that's another option that you can take. But we'll just complete this race and see what happens, just because I know you're probably random curiosity. So the next person would draw this tile right here. Yellow would go forward 1 space, which means, that would actually mean he goes, whoop, backwards 1. So since he landed on there, he would go backwards 1, and actually that would mean that this guy has collected 1 coin, so good for him. So right now, white is looking like a really appealing option, because blue is the only person left to move, and, for all intents and purposes, they're probably going to win. If they get a 1, what would happen is this would happen, and white would be in first place, blue would be in second place, third place, fourth place, fifth place, and everyone who got a white token would finish with 5 points. If he got a 3, he went 1, 2, 3. Once again, white would be in first place. But there's one more thing that I would like to mention, and that is that with these guys right here, they kind of can screw things up and make things a little bit silly, because if white were to get a 2, he would go 1, 2, land here, and then since he's actually going backward, that would mean that he would go to the bottom of the pile, which would now mean that green is on top. Vice versa, when you land on top of one of the plus ones, you actually jump forward 1 spot and you jump on top of a camel. So the -1 really hurts you, the +1 really helps you. But if this were the end of the leg, you would tally up all these things. Each of these would give you a point. Each of these would, so for instance, this one would give you 1 point because orange would be in second place. This one right here would give you -1 because white is all the way in fourth place. And this guy right here who picked green would get 5 coins. But anywho, you're going to continue to do that leg after leg after leg until one of the persons crosses the finish line. You'll tally up the points down here, and the winner is the player with the most money. And that, in a nutshell, is how Camel Up is played. Alrighty then, Camel Up from Z-Man Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, the game is not going to be for everybody. This game is incredibly luck-driven. There is very, very tiny elements of luck mitigation on what happens with the camels, but for the most part, the camels completely have a mind of their own, and just needless to say, I've played probably like 15 games of this. Only once has one camel really been out of the race, like completely out of the race. Camels just, they climb on top of each other, and then all bets are off. And some people who like more control in their games are definitely going to hate that. Also, this is a gambling game, which might be a turnoff to some people because you're going to be gambling on the camels and trying to sabotage them and help them out and that sort of thing. I mean, really, I can't really think of too many cons, Either you're going to like this game and you're going to have fun with it and realize it's silly, stupid fun, or you're not, and you're going to hate it. You're going to think it's too random, and you're going to be like, this is terrible. I have no control, and it's going to be blah. Moving on to the pros, though, I actually love this game. I really do enjoy this game. This is a new go-to family game for me. This is a new go-to a new go-to gateway game for me. This is just a fantastic game. The components are really nice. They got the micro cards, but there's so few cards it doesn't really bug me. I like the camels. I like how the camels work. I love gambling, so naturally I really enjoy this game. I hardly ever win, but when I do win, it's like, yes, I won, because I normally bet like crazy long shots and be like, well, no one else is betting on them, why not me? Then they'll hop on somebody else's back, then that person will hop on somebody else's back, and then all of a sudden it's like, where did that come from? And I got 8 points coming at me. Camel Up is silly, lighthearted fun. And if you're looking for a game that is silly, lighthearted fun, this one might be for you. Another thing that I found really surprising with this game is it's not bad with 2 and 3 players. It plays up to 8, and with 8, it is is good. It's still fun with 8. But with 2 or 3 players, it's still not bad either, surprisingly. I tried it 2 players when I was first learning it, and I thought it was going to be terrible. It was actually kind of fun as well. I don't know if it'd be a game that I would necessarily say, man, we got 2 players, we got 30 minutes to blow, I'm going to go with Camel Up, but it's still a viable option. So overall, Camel Up from Z-Man Games, big fan of this one. This is one that I would almost say, it's not an insta-buy because this is definitely not going to be for a lot of people, but I would say try before you buy it, but I think most people are really going to enjoy this game. That is Camel Up from Z-Man Games. If you enjoy this content, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below, and in the comments below, let me know what is your favorite easy breakfast. Obviously, steak and eggs. Steak and eggs is delicious, or there's something really fancy, but what is your favorite easy breakfast? Are you an oatmeal getter, a muffin getter, Pop-Tarts, cereal? Me personally, I love toaster strudels. I think I'd have to go with toaster strudels. Toaster strudels are just so good. You got the little packet on there, and you suck out the edge to the extra packet. It's all sugary and delicious, and just warms you up on a cold day. I'm hungry now. But what's your favorite easy breakfast? Be sure to post it in the comment below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.
That was the review for Camel Up. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bowers Game Corner.